welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today the movie I'm reviewing is called Medieval. This Czech historical drama movie was released in select theaters on September 9th, 2022, and is now going to be available on video on demand the end of October. So the movie is rated R and is 2 hours and 6 minutes long. My overall Movie Review Mom grade is a C. And let me explain why. Keep watching, don't click off. Let me explain. So first I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, and recommendations for other movies that I think you'll also like or even like better than this one. Ready? All right, you ready? In a nutshell, the movie tells the story of 15th century Czech icon and warlord Jan Žižka, who defeated the armies of Teutonic Order and the Holy Roman Empire. Jan Žižka is one of the few commanders in the history of the world to have never lost a battle that he led. So interesting guy, interesting history. There were a lot of things I really liked about this movie. First of all, I adore Michael Caine, so it was great to see him in something again. It's not a huge role, but still, I loved seeing him. The big roles go to, well, the biggest role goes to Ben Foster, but also Matthew Good, and the two of them always make a film better. In this movie, Ben Foster's eyes and subtle facial expressions show the depth of his character, adding layers to his performance. He gave an excellent performance, and it was just really fun to see him in this movie. William Moseley has the perfect look for a movie about Europeans. Sophie Lowe is lovely, but I felt so badly for her character because she had to spend so much time with incredibly brutal men and watch unimaginable atrocities act out right before her innocent eyes. Most of the time, the expression on her face is, for those who didn't get the intense action scenes that they wanted in the movie The Woman King, which was mostly bloodless violence, they won't have any complaints about this film's fight sequences and impressive sword play. You get all the gore and the blood and the brutality in this movie if you didn't get enough in that one. The movie lives up to its name, filled with realistic looking grime, gore, and political machinations mingled with Catholic power. The Hussite lyrics in the music song called Who Are the Warriors of God adds to the authenticity. Now, a typical American wouldn't even know that that was part of Czech musical history. So I love it when directors and writers add details that are authentic. And there are other authentic elements of the film, including the costume design, lighting, makeup, and set pieces. Fans of vicious battles will love the action sequences, but what makes them more interesting are the strategies behind them. Apparently, Jan Žižka was very brutal in real life and also very clever. Very nice cinematography by Jesper Toffner and beautiful soundtrack and music by Philip Klein. Several cards at the end of the film tell us the rest of the story. And so I thought it was really fascinating to learn about this man in history, war history, European war history. There were, however, a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better. For example, with so many authentic touches and elements included in the movie, it seemed odd, to me at least, to have so many American accents mixed with British ones. A lot of the scenes are visually dark, which will make it hard to see what's happening if you watch this on a small device once it goes to video on demand and streaming. I would love to hear from any of our Czech viewers about how accurately they felt their history was portrayed in the movie. Be sure and comment down below because I really don't know anything about Czech history, although I love European history in general and lived there for a couple of years. So anyway, comment down below. Give us the scoop. Let me give you some tips for parents. This is not an appropriate movie for children because of the extreme violence with blood and gore and brutal deaths. And also there is some nudity. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are corruption, greed, power, monarchy, Catholic Church, and injustices. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. However, I didn't write any funny lines because this is really a serious drama. There's a little bit of amusing banter between some of the guys, but nothing that I felt was worthy of writing down as being, laugh out loud funny. It's definitely not a comedy. But let me share some interesting lines with you. For example, Jan Zizka says, if you choose to fight, you may die, but for a good cause, that is a good death. And the people who followed him really were inspired by his honor and his own personal goal of an honorable death, fighting for a good cause, that kind of thing. Katerina, played by Sophie Lowe, says death brings life. And that's something that Jan Zizka teaches her. And then another line is, kings may be chosen by God, but they still make the mistakes of men. And I really love that because the flavor of this movie is definitely medieval times. And back in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church ruled politically and spiritually over Europe. And the kings of those European nations felt like they truly were anointed by God and could do no wrong, really. And the people believed that as well. So I thought that that was an important element for them to include. All right, so before we go, let me give you recommendations for a couple of other movies I immediately thought of. Most recently, the movie The Northman came to my mind because it's got that same level of violent, bloody brutality and history, mingled with some other love story type of stuff. And then, of course, the classic Braveheart came to my mind. That is such a great movie. I've seen it a bazillion times. So great, with Mel Gibson and history of Scotland condensed into a movie, even though it's a very long movie. Anyway, check those two out if you haven't seen them. And if you can handle the blood and the gore and the extreme violence. Just a heads up on that. All right, thank you so much for supporting me by watching my video all the way to the end, by liking my videos, commenting on them, and certainly subscribing. That definitely helps me to grow my channel. I try to help save you time and money by giving you the inside scoop on some of these films. So hopefully you appreciate them and have fun watching movies. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.